Meeting of the Clear Lake City Council of Monday, November 21, 2022 shall come to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mark, seconded by Dana, that we approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. To the consent agenda, you have a copy of the minutes of November 7th, 2022. We need approval of the bills and claims, of which you also have a copy. We have the following licenses and permits: liquor license, Class C, retail alcohol license, The Other Place; Class E, retail alcohol license, Lake Liquors, Wine and Spirits. Those are renewals. Class C, retail alcohol license, Fairfield Inn and Suites. That's new. Fireworks permit for the Clear Lake Area Chamber of Commerce, Christmas by the Lake, and a street closing request for the Clear Lake Area Chamber of Commerce for Christmas by the Lake on December 3rd. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Gary, seconded by Mike, that we approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Now is the time and place for anyone in the audience who wishes to address the council on any issue or concern that is not on the agenda. Please approach the podium, state your name first and last, give your address so the clerk can properly enter it in the minutes. This is not a discussion time, nor a question and answer time, and you have 3 to 5 minutes. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you. He's back. Good evening. My name is Jeff Burtz. Address is 15 Country Club Place here in Clear Lake. Good evening, and thanks for the opportunity to appear. I'm here tonight representing the growing pickleball community in Clear Lake and surrounding communities. Over the past year and a half, pickleball has exploded. During that time, you've all been very patient with us as we've talked to you about it ad nauseum. We appreciate that. When we leave here tonight, we'll give you each a complete copy of our presentation that outlines the history of pickleball in Clear Lake, our community engagement, which includes our ongoing work with Adam and Mary Jo at the Wellness Center, benefits to Clear Lake and North Iowa, some interesting numbers to know, one of which is that Clear Lakers are playing between 350 and 400 hours of pickleball every week between the outdoor facility and the indoor facility now. That package also details our local and national involvement in the sport, including having one of our members, Pam Kellogg, being nominated and accepted into the ambassador program at USA Pickleball Association. It's a national association. Quite an accomplishment. As the sport grows exponentially here and around the country, we felt it was time to put a formal plan together and bring it to here tonight. Our goal for pickleball in Clear Lake is to have a dedicated 6-court complex to accommodate this volume of play. After considering a couple of undeveloped sites, we came to realize that the best, most cost-effective option was right in front of us on the old basketball courts located in the municipal tennis court site. Over the past 2 summers, we've seen exactly 2 times when the old basketball courts were used. Each of those times, that court usage was limited to roughly a half an hour. And granted, we're not out there 24 hours a day, but we're out there quite a bit. We've met with Superintendent Doug G. a number of times about the space and have come to an understanding that if there's another place for someone to shoot baskets, he will back this plan. Upon presenting this general concept to Scott Flory, it was suggested that in order for the city to consider partnering with us on the project, we'd need to have soil and water sampling done for that particular site. To that end, we engaged Chosen Valley Testing, a firm that the city was quite comfortable with, quite familiar with. Our group approved spending $1,000 for testing, and we had to move ahead. The results are in. They report 0 water, drilling to a depth of 10 feet. They left the equipment in place for an additional week and reported still no water. The complete report's included in the back of the presentation materials I'll give you. It allows for soil sampling and various under strata. Our proposal also includes a statement from Dave Ricken, Heartland Asphalt, about the durability of the updates that they're proposing. Dave says, and I quote, We typically figure an overlay on courts like these that have good drainage gets you another 25 to 30-plus years of additional use, with some crack filling and other minor maintenance work along that period. Dave goes on to say, with these courts sitting on the top of the hill and having good drainage away, I don't see any reason that this shouldn't last a long time with that use. The budget, with all the major components considered, including the basketball court space, is just under $100,000. We felt it was wise to allow for cost changes, and we've set our overall goal at $120,000. Will Clear Lake participate with Clear Lake pickleballers in a 50-50 funding for this project? We need the city on board so that we can initiate our grant writing and fundraising beginning January of this next year. One of the most likely grant applications will be with the Wellmark Foundation, headquartered here in Iowa. The grant cycle runs for 6 weeks, commencing January 1 of 2023. I've had recent conversations with Gina Rooney, the foundation manager, and came away with the sense that with the city's involvement, this project ticks all of the foundation's boxes. Additionally, we've identified other grant sources as well as other possible private donations. We are ready to go to work to bring this to Clear Lake. Can we count on your help? Thank you and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Can I just pass these out or put them in a stack?
Certainly. Just leave them in a stack and we can get them there. Yep. Thank you. Appreciate that. Council will take this under advisement. We appreciate your being here tonight. Moving along to unfinished business, of which we have none, we'll go to 6A under new business, Emerald Edge subdivision, upgraded street. Pardon me? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were.
Your looks when I walked up here.
Welcome.
I know this isn't a, thank you. My name is Becky Wilder, which you all know, lifetime resident of this town. I know it isn't a question and asking. I'm just gonna read stuff and this, I wanna finish, please. This is where I'm at. What has happened to our small town? Who is looking out for the best interests of our town and residents that have built this town? Who do the residents of our small town not matter anymore? Why? This town is no longer a working-class town where you can build and grow your family. When we go to a memorial service, for our loved ones at the town funeral home, we get to hear music played from the distillery that should have never been allowed to be built next to it in our downtown. Really, once again, disrespecting the residents of our town and our memorial time to love them. How come we, as longtime residents that have lived here our whole life to support our town, keeps getting the middle finger? Why did this happen to our town? Greed, destruction, and corruption. I found out just today that the past weekend you held the auction at the Hilltop Hotel, and everything sold for very cheap, which a lot of people didn't even know about. And if you were going to sell things that cheap, why wouldn't you donate it to the Habitat Recovery for people that need it? Who votes for the City of the Year? Who is eligible to vote for the City of the Year? Is it residents? Or who votes for that? The Citizen of the Year. Who votes for that? I would like to set up a time to talk over more concerns, but I know that will not happen. Sincerely, happy Thanksgiving and God bless.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Moving on now to 6A, Emerald Edge subdivision, upgraded street lighting project. Intro, Mr. Flory. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. The yellow sheet, first yellow sheet of your packet is a resolution adopting plan specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for the Emerald Edge street lighting project. Again, tonight is the time and place for the hearing on that. On the back side of the yellow sheet is a resolution making an awarded contract for the Emerald Edge street light project. The award would go to K&W Electric of Cedar Falls, Iowa. in the amount of $99,840. The green sheet is a summary of the bids, bid tabulation prepared by Jason Petersburg, the project engineer on this one, again indicating that K&W Electric of Cedar Falls was the lowest responsible bidder on the project. They were the only bidder on the project of the 3 plan holders that taken out plans for the project. So again, just in the way of some review, we had a development agreement with Sukup Ag LLC that was approved back in December of 2001 for the Emerald Edge subdivision, and that part of that agreement, we agreed to participate in the installation of the upgraded street lighting project like we did for the Courtway Park subdivision on the other side of the interstate. Under this model, the developer reimburses the city for the basic costs of the Alliance streetlight fixture, and then we pay for the remainder of those streetlight fixture costs. So at your meeting on June 20th, 2022, the council approved a approved a professional services agreement with Veenster and Kim, and again, they did the design and those oversee the construction on the project for this one as well. So Jason will kind of cover the plans again, but he's done that a couple of times already, so if you don't have any questions, that'll be brief. The project, again, consists of the placement of 9 new decorative streetlight fixtures, including foundations, about 2,000 lineal feet of electrical conduit, and a conductor and a lighting control panel. At your meeting on October 17th, then the council had set the date for the bid letting, so we had that on November 16th, 11 o'clock here at City Hall, as I mentioned. We had about 3 plan holders on that, did only receive 1 bid from K&W Electric there in Cedar Falls, $99,840, so about 11–12% less than what the engineers estimated probable cost of construction was, which was $112,224.50. And K&W has done work here in Clear Lake before. In fact, they're doing the Main Avenue project as well. So project schedule calls for construction to start on this in March and then be completed in May. So I have not received any written communication prior to the public hearing, so I don't know if anyone has any questions of me before Jason reviews the bid tab and can go over the plans with you a little further if you'd like.
Questions for Scott? Scott? Review of bids and recommendation regarding awarded contract. Jason Petersburg, V&K. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. As Scott mentioned, the project involves installing 9 new streetlight fixtures, conduit, conductors, and a new control panel. The new light poles themselves, the pole will be 22 foot tall. It's a decorative style of pole. It'll have a 6 foot tall arm on it, making the actual fixture mounting height 28 feet. Very similar to what was done in the Courtway development. I believe those were 30 foot mount heights there. Power for the new lights will come from a new control panel that'll be installed at the intersection of North 14th Street and Hunter Place. Form of contract for the project is unit price, which is very similar to what we do for most of these types of projects. And then the engineer's opinion of a probable cost, $112,224.50. Bids were due last Wednesday, November 16th at 11 a.m. 1 bid was received from the 3 plan holder. There is a bid tab in your packet. I talked to that bidder, K&W. They were very surprised that there were no other bids, and it's my understanding that there was 1 other bid that was received after the bid submission deadline, so that bid was not opened and it will be returned to the bidder that way. The bid received from KW Electric out of Cedar Falls is $99,840, which is 11% under the engineer's estimate. We have worked with K&W Electric on other projects. I know the city has, and I know they've done some traffic signal work here in town, and then they did the North Shore Drive street lighting, and then also they're currently working on this phase of East Main. V&K recommends awarding the contract to K&W Electric out of Cedar Falls with the amount of the contract being $99,840. I did have a little discussion with K&W regarding material availability lead time. During the bidding process, there was some questions received from some of the bidders regarding certain items. At this time, the only item that K&W is anticipating may be delayed itself is the control panel. I've asked for other manufacturers, other ideas, other alternatives, and he said there really isn't any because this manufacturer furnishes the meter socket to all the other manufacturers as well, and that's been the holdup. So he doesn't think it's going to be a huge delay, but it may not be in by the end of April when we'd like to have those lights on. So, with that, is there any questions?
So you're saying if they placed their order now, that it's still gonna be that long, huh?
Correct.
Wow.
Junction boxes are another item, but they have those warehoused already, so they have those in hand. And then the lighting, the poles are available, the fixture is available, but the arm is 20-some weeks out just for that one piece.
Wow.
So these are the same as Courtway, right?
No.
Different.
The light fixture itself is, the arm is very similar, but the pole is more of a decorative style of pole.
Okay.
It'll be a similar pole to what's on North Shore Drive, just a little bigger around and taller.
All right, neat. Any other questions for Jason, council? Thank you, Jason. Now is the time and place for the public hearing with regard to the Emerald Edge subdivision upgrade street lighting project. Anybody in the audience that wishes to address that particular project, please approach the podium, state your name, give your address so the clerk can properly enter it in the minutes. Not appearing, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
By Dana, seconded by Mike, that we close the public hearing. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. So now we have two motions here to take action upon. The first motion to approve Resolution 2281, a resolution approving plans, specs, form of contract, and estimate of cost. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Bennett, seconded by Mark, that we approve Resolution 2281. Is there any discussion? Roll call. Mark?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
And Dana?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Resolution 2281 is duly adopted. Now entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2282, a resolution making an award of contract, and that's to K&W Electric Cedar Falls in the amount of $99,840. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Gary, seconded by Mike, that we approve Resolution 2282. Is there any discussion? Roll call. Mike?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Dana?
Yes.
And Mark?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0, and Resolution 2282 is duly adopted. 6B, Clear Lake Consolidated Urban Renewal Area Project. Review, Mr. Flores.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. At the October 3rd council meeting, we had initiated the process to amend the consolidated urban renewal area. Of course, that was for the express purpose of adding in some new projects and initiatives related to the Destination Iowa project and grant application that we're making there. This is, again, being done now. It'll probably be done again sometime shortly after the start of the next calendar year, but being done now so we can take advantage of our ability to certify these projects, the debt associated with them for tax increment financing collection purposes. So at your meeting on November 7th, the council conducted the public hearing, and then we amended the urban renewal plan to add certain items. Those included professional services agreements related to planning, engineering, legal, financial, and other administrative costs, as well as reimbursement to the developer for the costs associated with the demolition of the 21-room Hilltop Motel, along with asbestos abatement and site preparation work. The city tonight will also consider an internal advance, and again, we've done numerous internal advances on different projects in the past. This is to create the legal requirement of a debt to certify for tax increment finance and collection purposes to the county. So we anticipate doing that here by the end of the month. Has to be done by December 1st. So just in terms of the items in the packet, take a quick look at those. First yellow sheet there is a resolution. Actually, let me back that up. The first purple sheet is a resolution authorizing the internal advance for funding of the urban renewal project. And this is associated with those items that I mentioned as the more legal, administrative, financial, those kinds of issues for the internal advance to create that debt. The yellow sheets are the one that are related to the development agreement with Snyder Partnership LLC, creating that internal advance debt and forgivable loan agreement of $140,000. And that's, again, associated with the demolition costs, asbestos abatement, removal, and site preparation and interim site development costs. So, again, that's an amount of not to exceed $140,000. So again, that's a resolution that has to be certified with the county by December 1st, along with the white sheets that are after that, which are the Economic Development Forgivable Loan Agreement. And just to kind of run over some of the items in that related to the developer covenants. So on page 1 of that, the commercial development project, minimum assessed valuation, we require that the project there's a commercial redevelopment project completed and that it's done by no later than December 31st of 2024. That the developer agrees to complete a commercial development project that would have a minimum assessed valuation of not less than $5 million. Demolition project would be completed by the end of this year, although we think it might drag into next year, so that's just more of a target date on the demolition project. And the terms on the forgivable loan are that the developer agrees to create, as I mentioned, that requirement for the assessed valuation and have it completed by that date, or be required to reimburse the city 50% of the costs associated with all of those things that I mentioned, like the site demolition costs, the asbestos abatement costs, and interim site development costs. So essentially 50% of that $140,000. And to ensure that, we have Exhibit A, which is a promissory note. Exhibit B, rather, which is the promissory note. So, and I don't have anything further on that one. You don't have a public hearing. We've had that at the last meeting. So I'd be happy to answer any questions on that.
So Scott, it's up to 200 for the internal advance. That's up to 250.
Yep, that's,
250,000, and that's to come from the general fund.
yep, we're just.
i.e. the source fund, yeah.
Yep, we have to create an internal, so we call it internal debt, is basically borrowing from ourselves. So in order to create a legally constitutable debt, we have to create some kind of borrowing arrangement, so we could borrow it from any fund we like. We just.
And paid with incremental property tax in 3 installments over 3 years.
Yep, going to rebate. That probably, it might be sooner than that. That's a conservative number.
Or sooner, right. All right, thank you.
Refresh my memory. Was the bid for the county shed demo somewhere around 60 grand?
Yeah, it was somewhere around 60, 70,000.
Okay.
Yep. Not near the asbestos. So on this,
Okay.
the asbestos was, I think the bid from, Burgo was over 40 on that. Yeah.
Hmm.
And we did some of the work, so like capping the utilities and stuff like that at the county shed. We did some of that. Jeremy did some of that in-house. So, yeah, some of those costs we didn't have.
The next Resolution 2284, we're dealing with the advance of 140 for demo of the hotel.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm. Yep.
Okay. And that's to be repaid
Thing.
same way?
Yep.
Mhm. Okay, got it. Any other questions, concerns, council, for Scott? Scott. Therefore, entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2283, a resolution authorizing internal advance for funding of urban renewal project. Motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Dana, seconded by Mark, that we approve Resolution 2283. Is there any discussion? Roll call, Gary.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Dana.
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
And Mike.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Resolution 2283 is duly adopted. Now, action on Resolution 2284, a resolution authorizing economic development / blight remediation forgivable loan agreement with Snyder Partnership LLC and authorizing internal advance for funding for forgivable loan thereunder. Motion, please.
So moved.
Moved by Bennett, seconded by Gary, that we approve Resolution 2284. Is there any discussion? Roll call, Bennett,
Yes.
Dana,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and Gary.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Resolution 2284 is duly adopted. Thank you. 6C, Annual Appropriation Development Agreements, Review, Creighton Schmidt, Director of Finance Administrative Services. Welcome, Creighton.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I have 4 long reports today, but you're all lucky because we had our annual financial audit today. So I will be a little bit briefer in my comments as I am ready to go home. The first one is for the annual appropriation of development agreements. The city currently has various development agreements that do contain the annual appropriation clause. In order to obligate these funds for the 2024 fiscal year, the city must certify the projected debt estimate to the county auditor's office by December 1st of this year. So we will be providing that certification along with these annual appropriations will be included on that. So it's December 1st of this year for the fiscal year 2024. Again, these payments are they're from the tax increment fund. So these are tax payments made by these businesses, and then a portion of that is rebated back to them. So we have 4, they're all in the gold section in the packet. Just to quickly review those, we have one with the McKesson Corporation, and that one is for a period of 15 years, and for fiscal year 2024, the rebate amount is $540,000. We also have one with the North Iowa Cultural Center and Museum. So that covers the Surf Ballroom and the Music Enrichment Center. And the estimate for that one for fiscal year 2024 is $16,000. Next, we have a new one, the Marriott Hotel and Event Center. And that agreement is with JSM Investments. The estimate on that one is $170,000 for fiscal year 24. And that one is for a period of 10 years. Just want to mention that. And then we have one more new one, and this is for the Starboard Square project with Momberg Land LLC. And the estimate on that one is for $22,000 for fiscal year 24. And that one is for a period of 7 years. So that's all the agreements there, and that's all I have there. Any questions?
Creighton, what's the number of years for North Iowa Cultural Center?
6 years.
Maybe you mentioned it, but which year is this for the McKesson agreement?
15 years into the 24, so it's about the 7th or 8th year.
Okay, so we're approximately halfway through that.
Yep, we're getting close.
All right, thank you.
Possible.
Yeah, seems like, well, anyway, I won't go there.
Any other questions, comments, Creighton? Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, this has always been done in December, right?
Yep, or in
Pri-
November, yep.
or
It's due-
November, prior
yep,
to
due
December.
1st, yep.
Yeah. And it's for fiscal 24, okay.
And the other thing I always feel is worth mentioning, that there are strings tied to these that the receivers of these grants need to follow through with to
Right, they
put
have to
this.
create certain minimum levels of taxable valuation, maintain that in the job creation goals, and so they certify that every year to us, so we review that before we bring them forward, but yes, good to point out.
Any other comments? Thank you. Therefore, I have several motions here for. Entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2185, a resolution obligating funds from the Clear Lake Consolidated Urban Renewal Area Tax Fund for the appropriation of payment of annual appropriation tax increment finance obligations which shall become due in the next succeeding fiscal year. And this is for McKesson. Motion, please.
So offered.
Second?
Moved by Mike, seconded by Mark, that we approve Resolution 2185. Is there any discussion? Roll call. Dana,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Mike, Bennett,
Yes.
and Gary.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0, and Resolution 2185 is duly adopted. We go to Resolution 2186, a resolution obligating funds from the Clear Lake Consolidated Urban Renewal Area Tax Fund for the appropriation of payment of an annual appropriation tax increment financed obligations, which shall become due in the next succeeding fiscal year, and this is for the North Iowa Cultural Center and Museum. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Dana, seconded by Gary, that we approve Resolution 2186. Is there any discussion? Roll call, Mark,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
and Dana.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Resolution 2186 is duly adopted. Action on Resolution 2187, a resolution obligating funds from the Clear Lake Consolidated Urban Renewal Area Tax Fund for the appropriation of payment and annual appropriation tax increment financed obligations which shall become due in the next succeeding fiscal year. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Bennett, seconded by Mark, that we approve Resolution 2187. Is there any discussion? Roll call, Mike.
Yes.
Gary.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Dana.
Yes.
And Mark.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Resolution 2187 is duly adopted. Last resolution in this section, motion to approve Resolution 2188, a resolution obligating funds from the Clear Lake Consolidated Urban Renewal Area Tax Fund for the appropriation of payment of annual appropriation tax increment finance obligations which shall become due in the next succeeding fiscal year. Motion, please.
So offered.
Moved by Mike, seconded by Gary, that we approve Resolution 2188. Is there any discussion? Roll call, Gary,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Dana,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
and Mike.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Resolution 2188 is duly adopted. 6D, Voluntary Early Retirement Incentive Program Review Proposal. Creighton Schmidt, welcome again, Creighton.
You again, Mayor and Council. So we've recently had some interest in an early retirement incentive program. This type of program is something the city has offered in the past at various times. So this program specifically would allow employees age 55 and older with more than 15 years of service to the city who are IPERS eligible to retire from employment with the city and utilize their accumulated paid leave to offset health insurance only premiums. Again, like I said, that's very similar to what the city has offered in the past. And in this case, eligible employees must provide their intent to retire to the city administrator prior to December 22nd of this year, and they must retire at some point between December and February. So that's the program we had, again, very similar to what we've done in the past.
Questions for Creighton?
Just one that's expressed interest.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Creighton. Therefore, I entertain a motion to approve fiscal, where am I? Enter to approve Resolution 2289, a resolution approving an early retirement incentive program. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Gary, seconded by Mike, that we approve Resolution 2289. Is there any discussion? Roll call. Bennett?
Yes.
Dana?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And Gary?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Resolution 2289 is duly adopted. 6E, Annual Urban Renewal Tax Increment Financing Report, Fiscal Year 22. Review. Creighton Schmidt, welcome again.
Thank you. Back to everybody's favorite topic, tax increment financing. So we have the annual report here, which is required by Section 384.22 of the Iowa Code. Basically, we have to report our activities with TIF by December 1st of each year, utilizing their online reporting system. The purpose of this report is to provide information to the Department of Management on all activities taking place within the city's various tax increment financing districts. For fiscal year 2022, only the Clear Lake Consolidated Urban Renewal Area saw activity, 2.8 million in revenues and just under 2.8 million in expenditures. The TIF Special Fund had a July 1st, 2021 beginning balance of 6,398 and a June 30th, 2022 ending balance of 55,369. You'll see summarized at the bottom of the summary here, the new reports on there, many of which we've already made reference of tonight. So the Surf District Hotel Planning Project for $250,000, the Hilltop Motel Demo Project for $140,000, the JSM Investments with the Marriott, $170,000 rebate, the Momberg Land Starboard Square for $22,000, the Downtown Business Incubator Incentive Program. That was a program we had that was utilized by a few Main Street new retailers, $55,000. The Starboard Square improvements, $50,000. And lastly, the Emerald Edge Subdivision Upgraded Street Lighting Project. Again, many of those we've already outlined tonight, but that is in total what we will be certifying to the county by December 1st.
Questions for Creighton? Thank you. Great. We're entertain a motion to approve fiscal year 2022 Urban Renewal Tax Increment Financing Report.
Second.
Moved by Mark, seconded by Mike, that we approve the fiscal year 22 Urban Renewal Tax Increment Financing Report. Is there any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. 6F, fiscal year 22 road use tax financial report. Creighton again.
Thank you. Last report here for the week, but hopefully I'll have a couple more in the next coming meetings. This one is the road use tax report. This one is required by the Code of Iowa, Section 321.14. And it requires that all cities receiving an allotment of road use tax funds prepare and submit to the Iowa DOT a financial accounting of the use of funds received. So again, as the mayor always points out when we talk about road use tax funds, they are allocated on a per capita basis. So based on how many citizens we have here is how much money we get from the state. And so this report just details what we've taken in revenues from that fund and what we've expended through that fund. We will file this again by December 1st. The beginning balance this year was 2.4 million and the ending balance was 3.1 million. Total revenues were 1,064,000 and total expenditures were about 400,000. And that one is that cream-colored sheet there that outlines all of our expenditures. Any questions on that report?
Council, any questions for Creighton?
Do you ever
Interesting.
get dizzy looking at all of this?
Very dizzy.
This last one, which you talked, Clear Lake received 1 million, which was 70,000 better than we'd budgeted for, right?
That is correct.
That's good. All right, here we go. Approve Resolution 2290, a resolution approving fiscal year 22 road use tax report. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dana, seconded by Gary, that we approve Resolution 2290. Is there any discussion? Roll call. Dana?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
And Bennett?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Resolution 2290 is duly Adopted, thank you. 6G, East Main Avenue Street Reconstruction and Bike Lane Extension Project update and review of pay estimate number 5, Mr. Petersburg, and he has some good news for us.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll start with an update on construction. All utility work is complete on the project, sanitary sewer, storm sewer, and water main. Wicks Construction Street Lighting Subcontractor, which is KW Electric, has 2 more light base footings to pour. Then they can set up the remaining light fixtures, pull wire, and have the new lights operational. Their plan, as long as everything goes according to their plan, is they want to have all their work done by the end of next week, so all the lights will be on by the end of next week. Street paving has proceeded well ahead of schedule, but the cold weather here for the last week or so has really slowed things up. I was on site today, checked the subgrade for the main line area that still needs to be paved, the south half from 8th Street to 10th Street. It was to my surprise, the base is not frozen, so they did do a good job of covering that, protecting it with their blankets. So current plan is to pour the intersections tomorrow, the north side, 9th and 10th Street, pour half of those. Wednesday, they plan to pave the last 2 blocks, which is the south half there, and pour the rest of the north intersections on Wednesday. They have multiple crews here now. And then weather forecast does still look good for early next week for some smaller pours. So Monday, Tuesday next week, they'd like to pour the south half of 9th and 10th Street. At that point, all the paving would be complete, all the street paving. So after the concrete reaches maturity, McInnes will be back on site. They'll backfill the curbs and restore the driveways from 8th to 10th. Pay estimate 5 in your packets is for work completed in October. This includes the majority of the remaining utility work, the last 2 blocks of the rock base, and the first 4 blocks of paving that was completed in early October. Net amount due to Wicks Construction is $707,848.10. E&K recommends approval of pay estimate number 5. Any questions?
This is good news, ahead of schedule, quite a bit.
Not paved.
Yeah, don't speak too soon. Any other comments, council?
And Jason, I was going to mention, did you get a chance to visit with any of the property owners about the saw cutting?
With a few of them, and there's no issues. They just want to see it done. And we will be going door to door to all of them Wednesday midday, and talking to those that are home. And if we can't get a hold of them, we've been leaving flyers, just telling them what's coming. But Wicks would like to get the sign done later Wednesday rather than early Thursday, if possible, so they don't have to uncover, and then recover again. So they're hoping to get it done sooner than later on this phase, if possible.
Anything else, council? Thanks, Jason. Therefore, I'll entertain a motion to approve pay estimate number 5 regarding East Main Avenue Street Reconstruction Bike Lane Extension Project, Wicks Construction, Decorah, Iowa, $707,848.10. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Gary, seconded by Mike, that we approve pay estimate number 5. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Thank you. Captain? Report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I want to start off by saying Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I think you have in your packets our stat sheets up through the end of October. Should be up to date there. I think you'll see on our calls, we're starting to slow down for our summer peaks that we have through May, June, July, and August there. September still has some hot spots there with the Labor Day weekend. Over the last couple of weeks, we had our first snowfall, which we did have an influx in accidents that day when it first snowed last week. When the sun went down, we had a little bit of a refreeze, and so we had quite a bit up there. But I think Public Works came out and did a good job of taking care of the streets for us, so it kind of calmed down there. With the holiday weekend coming, it's one of the highest traveled holidays throughout the year, so we'll have some extra officers out on Friday and Saturday on the back end of the travel time there, and then again Sunday afternoon. I know the other agencies in the area, the State Patrol, the Sheriff's Office also have some GTSP funded overtime as well that time for everybody. So we just encourage everybody to slow down and drive safe. Take an extra couple minutes to get there so everybody gets there safely. But I don't know if there's any questions about the stat sheet that the chief included in the packet there, or anything about the upcoming holiday weekend for anybody.
We have well-informed people about cars on the street and so on and so forth.
Yeah, we didn't have enough snow last time to institute the snow ordinance. The way, the timing of the snow and the wind kind of blew it off, and then Public Works was out and was able to get the streets cleared during the day a little bit there too. So we anticipate our first major snowstorm probably sometime in December or January, and we'll push that out through social media and then also through our new public address system that we have rolled out through dispatch countywide.
I was talking to the captain before the meeting, and I got a email last week from a resident of Wedgwood Estates there, Bennett, you interested, from Mr. Okerlund there, who expressed thanks for the police response to more observation of traffic speed going down 27th Avenue to South 8th there. Am I right, 27th?
Yeah, we did have some conversations with the residents there of Wedgwood Court, Wedgwood Drive there. Their concern was some of the speed and the going downhill there eastbound on 27th Avenue South between South Shore and South 8th Street. So we had some directed patrols out there, officers running radar and just being visible. So there was twofold. One, just the visibility creates a behavior change, and then also with some stops and some violators, there also creates a behavior change. Just seeing officers out there with the car stopped, and obviously if you see somebody getting pulled over, it kind of reminds you to slow down a little bit there. And so we did notice some violations there, so we addressed those that we could.
Well, I thanked him for that, and, you know, he might, said he'd like it passed on to the officers too, so.
I'll let them know. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions?
Oh, thank you, Captain.
Thanks. Mr. Kornberg, Public Work Director's Report. Welcome, Jeremy.
Mayor, council, not a whole lot to update you on, but if you've noticed, we did get our order of greenery in, so those were put up last Monday to get all the Christmas lights and decorations up. They've also started putting up banners on Main Avenue for the lights that have already been installed. I think they were able to get 3 or 4 of them up today, so they're just kind of waiting on K&W to finish up along Main Avenue. And then just to piggyback on Captain's comments on snow, yeah, these first snow events were more of a nuisance than a whole lot of snow movement. These events like this actually probably cost us more time and money than the larger snows, just because we are constantly having to address slick areas, and events like this that go on for, 3 days of just weird snow and events. It's really hard to keep ice from picking up, but dispatch has been calling in our on-call guys and alerting us areas to go to. So like he had mentioned, just got to be careful. Snow and ice can accumulate even after we've been there to sand and ice and salt areas. I know I saw a stop sign that was hit, and I had seen a truck go by there, I know that night, because I had called him to go there and saw the sign down the next morning. So it's just one of those winter things. I think people have to adjust. Everybody has to remember how to drive, but we got all our equipment up and running. Obviously, that first snow, we had everything running, and plows hit the road, and a few things break, and we get them fixed. So hopefully we're got all that those hiccups out of the way. So other than that, if you have any questions for me,
Council, any questions? Thanks, Jeremy. Great.
Thank you. The big one is that we had our annual audit today. So the auditors were here in person. They had done some other stuff online, but they came and kind of wrapped up most of it. So they'll do a couple more things, and then hopefully we'll have an audit report for you all in a couple of weeks here. Outside of that, just want to give a quick report on the Wellness Center. We are almost up to 800 contracts. So over the past 45 days, we've been picking up lots of contracts, usually about 5 a day, and even more so in November than we were in October. So definitely great to see that positive growth as it's getting colder outside. People want a place to hang out, play, get fit, whatever the case may be. Adam's done a good job staying in contact with the athletics director over at the high school, Troy Tisdale, and we've been working together. There's been, it's almost crazy, but 80,000 square feet, and sometimes you're running out of space. And so we have high schoolers who are practicing over there, and so we're looking at ways to provide the most space available for our members for the most time. And we're also looking at maybe making one of the rooms available for high schoolers to even just go in there and hang out. More of like maybe foosball tables, things like that, because we do get a lot of students that come over there after school. So we're definitely listening to the members over there and hearing that, and we are working at our best to create more opportunities for those that are utilizing the space. Outside of that, and outside of all these reports that are making me dizzy, we also have a couple big projects that we're working on over in City Hall here. And Aaron and Hope have done a tremendous amount of work on these as well. And when we're doing that, of course, Jennifer's helping fill in on phones when she needs to, helping do other things. Brittany as well, so I just wanted to thank the staff there. But one of them is a online payroll system. It integrates with our accounting software. So it's a timekeeping system, so all employees can have it on their phone. Right now, we kind of have various timekeeping systems throughout the city and some manual processes and that. And so we're able to consolidate it here, which is very helpful, efficient. It's nice for everybody to be able to see their time on their phone, and then they'll also, rather than getting pay stubs, they can get that on their phone, on their computer. Same with W-2s, they'll be able to access all of that. So a lot of work goes into that, so I just want to thank the team for that. And then the other one is an online accounts payable system. So right now it's a very manual process and stamp each one, but we're going to be able to go to an online process there too, where we're submitting all of our invoices online, which not only makes just the process day to day more efficient, but also when we have things like an annual audit, it's much easier to pull things if they're already in the system. Right now we do a lot of scanning things in and all that, but you can most times get them directly from an email, put them into the system, and move forward that way. So a couple big projects that we're doing, and thank you to the staff for moving in the right direction on this. And happy Thanksgiving.
Any questions? Thank you. That wellness, don't want to belabor that, but that wellness deal is something else. I think I've lost my mind, but I'm there 3 mornings of the week at 5:45. The other morning, I sat in my car while it was still warm, counted 30 cars in there. That means people that came in at 5 o'clock in the morning. You know, they've lost their mind more than I have. But that's really, really, really good. But that's neat to see that. Anyway, under mayor's report, one thing. Scott talked or emailed us, I believe, or texted us about a possibility of goal setting, strategic planning, if you will, that we did a number of years ago, and a few of us were here then, and it was, I felt, pretty good idea. It may wore out from there after a while, but that'd be good to, I read this whole report from Center Point. They're a smaller community than we are, but, it was well organized, well put together, and that might be something we should contemplate at least.
Yeah, so I'm in touch with that professor at Iowa State. For years we used University of Iowa for that, then they discontinued that program, and there were some, UNI had a program, but it wasn't as good as what we had used previously at that time anyway, and it was a void there, so Iowa State has kind of picked it up, and it looks like a good process, and so, yeah, we're going to get a proposal and try to get something scheduled here before the end of the year or very early next year.
Yeah, I thought that was good, but like you say, we did kind of run our course on that for a while now. Come back at it, so, yeah, be good. Stacy, welcome. Stacy Dawn, Chamber of Commerce.
I'll echo Mayor's comments regarding the Wellness Center. I get a fist bump every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from Nelson at 6 a.m. at the Adams weightlifting class. I'd highly recommend it. It's really great. I know this has probably been done at nauseum, but Scott, I just want to congratulate you for being named Citizen of the Year. It was a great program on Thursday and a great honoring of all of your accomplishments and contributions to Clear Lake, so congratulations. From a chamber standpoint, we are hyper-focused on the shop local message right now. We have digital marketing ads going on, we have radio, we're doing some social media things. Essentially, we're just trying to remind people to keep their local dollars local, especially as inflation skyrockets. Our small businesses need our support more than ever, so think about frequenting one of our local retailers, restaurants, what have you, this holiday season versus maybe pointing and clicking. I know that's so easy, but just take some time to support our neighbors, our family, our friends. And then we mentioned Christmas by the Lake. It is well underway in terms of planning. Hard to believe it's just a little over 2 weeks away. All of the things that we normally enjoy with Christmas by the Lake will be happening, petting zoo, s'mores, Christmas karaoke. Zion has a whole bunch of stuff planned, the lighted Christmas parade, and of course the fireworks. And then I'm also pleased to announce that the Knights of Columbus will be doing their breakfast with Santa. They used to do that in conjunction with One Vision at their Festival of Trees. That's no longer happening, but they have been adamant about continuing that tradition, and so they will be having breakfast with Santa at St. Pat's from 7 to 11 a.m. on Saturday, December 3rd. And as a Clear Laker, I just want to say there's a lot for us to be thankful for. So I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving with your family and friends and what have you. So have a great weekend.
Thank you. Anything else? Oh, Scott.
I'm just going to say happy Thanksgiving. I wish you and yours the very best, and let's see if we can get the Lions to get 4 in a row.
Page 2. Yes. Anything for the good? Yeah. Anything for the good of the cause? Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.